it's Pepsi. For those who think young are everywhere. And you'll find Pepsi always there. Which goes to show that today they know that now it's Pepsi. When you say Pepsi, please, you're putting yourself on mine. People who like their leisure, with Pepsi, the drink that's young. So go ahead and pick the drink that lets you drink young as you think. Yes, get the right one, the modern light one. Now it's Pepsi, for those who think young.
Celebrating junior bowling, elevating junior bowlers. This is Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Today we're about 120 miles south of our usual location in Roswell, Georgia. We're coming to you live on tape from Bowlero Columbus in Columbus, Georgia. This is Prodigy Bowlers Tour, episode 94. Say Pepsi, please. We're here for the 2019 Georgia State PEPSI Tournament. Today, you'll see the stepladder finals in the U15 BOYS division. We'll also bring you bonus coverage of any other divisions that are still in doubt when our bowlers complete their championship round. Contestants from all across the state qualified for the PEPSI Tournament through their youth leagues. Those who qualified bowled round 1 2 weeks ago on April 13th and 14th. A 6-game round for the older age divisions. The younger ones bowled just 3 games. And 10% of the field advanced to round 2, which was held this morning. Those who returned for round 2 today bowled 3 more games to winnow the field down to the final 5. So, let's meet our 5 finalists in the U15 BOYS division. They're all familiar to Prodigy viewers. Bowling in the 5th position is Aiden Reynolds. Aiden is the reigning champion in the U12 BOYS division, and this is his first year competing as a U15. Aiden bowls with us at Bowlero Roswell in our Roswell Varsity League. He'll meet the number 4 qualifier, Matthew Bruce. Matthew is no stranger to viewers of Prodigy, as he won in his very first appearance on Prodigy Bowlers Tour in December 2017 on our Under the Boardwalk episode. The winner of that match will advance to face our number 3 qualifier and the defending champion in this event, Joshua Collins of Fort Benning, Georgia. Josh was the 2 seed 1 year ago when he won his first PEPSI title. The winner of that match will move on to bowl the number 2 qualifier today, Elijah Williams. Josh stopped Elijah's march to the top last year as Elijah finished 3rd. In the past 2 years, Elijah has finished 5th, then 3rd, and he's looking to go all the way today. The winner of that semifinal match will bowl for the championship today against our tournament leader, Christian Knowles. Christian made his only appearance on Prodigy Bowlers Tour a victorious one when he paired with Brandon Caraviti to win the Baker Dozen. But this member of our Roswell Varsity League is on his own today. He's been at the top of the U15 BOYS leaderboard since round 1 and now wants to make this a wire-to-wire victory. That's our field today on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. So there's no need to dilly-dally. Let's get right into our first match between our 5 seed, Aiden Reynolds, and our 4 seed, Matthew Bruce. Matthew is the higher finisher and has exercised his option of starting lanes. He wants to finish last, so he's going to lead off. And he puts one in the swish zone and rips the rack to begin. Take another look at this strong right-hander. Little outside in swing. I like it. And swish city. All right, and now Aiden Reynolds up on the right lane. Very different style, these two. Aiden more of a stroker. playing up the boards, but the results the same. A wall shot. So they both get a strike to begin. Now you're going to see some action on the adjacent pairs. Those are the girls in the U15 and U17 divisions. A little high this time for Aiden, and he leaves the 4. The characteristic of these lanes is you got to be careful and not let that ball get outside of the 10th board, or it will sail. And that's why Aiden is pointing it up a little. And I guess that's my cue to tell you all about this oil pattern. It's the 2018 Junior Gold Final Advancers pattern that drove them nuts in Dallas last July. 40 feet long, only about a 2-to-1 ratio, and a little above average volume of oil, 27.44 milliliters of oil. But the most important thing to know is that there are 7 loads of oil run from the second board on the left side to the second board on the right side. When you have that many loads run 2 to 2, you're going to have some out of bounds on the outside. And Matthew turns away before that ball gets halfway down the lane. He knew it wasn't good, but he gets the crossover, and that's good enough. Watch this. He's protecting from letting that ball get out as far as the 10th board, because if it does, it's gone. But he didn't get enough push on that one, but he still got the Brooklyn strike. So a double to begin, and Matthew off to a quick 10-pin lead. And another ripper on the left lane, and a turkey right out of the gate for Matthew. Strings of strikes were scarce. Over about 18, out to about 12. You don't want to get it much wider than that, and that's a good shot right there. All right, Aiden back up on the right lane. And that time he pointed it just a little too much. And you got to be careful. You send it wide, it will sail playing out there where he is. But if you pull it, it'll get into the track and take off on you. So he's playing a very tricky line. You got to be very precise. And he covers the 610. One of the things we have seen a lot of is right side spares are easily missed on the right because it's so slick on the outside of the lanes. Sometimes they send it just a little too wide and it doesn't come back. There you go. Gets the light shaker off the wall. And another strike for Aiden. Watch this. He's going to lay this ball down at about 7 or 8, points it up to about 10 at the arrows, and just gets the light shaker. And he likes it. And Matthew comes up a little high. That could have been a 4-9. He will take the 9 only. Going with a plastic ball. Covers the 9 pin.
Are you
Matthew's stepdad is a PBA player, Will Tarpon, and so he is well schooled, and you can see it in his game. He has been trained well, and he's well practiced. All of these kids are, or they wouldn't be here. He gets a crossover this time. These lanes are so touchy. You miss just a little, and it will take off. Watch this. That time he hit about 18 at the arrows. Just didn't project quite as far to the right down lane. He may have drifted slightly to the right, I'm not sure, but whatever the cause, it went Brooklyn, and he'll take that break. And you see he motions looking at someone. I think he turned it a little too hard. Aiden with a crossover, and he breaks down the 5-10 split, leaves just the 5. And let me tell you something, when you're on a difficult oil pattern like the one they're playing on today, when you can break down splits and leave a simple spare, that is almost like getting another strike. Assuming, of course, you convert the spare. I wouldn't expect he'd have any problem with the 5-pin, though. And he takes care of it. So both players clean through the first half of the game. We did not see a whole lot of clean games in this tournament, even among the leading players. Now Aiden back up on the left lane. Last time he was up, he struck on this lane. This time it sails wide. The 8 goes out late. That'll simplify this spare a little bit. He leaves just the 1-2. But what he needs are strikes to close the gap on Matthew. But he gets the spare easily. And spares sometimes are enough. They will put enough pressure on your opponent, and sometimes these lanes are so tough, the leader will come back to you. Matthew, 4 strikes in 5 frames thus far. That has been more the exception than the rule on this oil pattern. Oh, just a little high, but look at this. He gets one to roll over. What a break. And that puts a strike on top of a strike. And now he gets a double. Watch this one. An unlikely break. He turns away. He doesn't like it. He knows it's high. And I'm not sure what this is that rolls over from the right side and just tilts out the 4. See if we can get a look at his reaction this time. He gave up on it. Turns away, shakes his head, and then the 4 goes. And we get a little fist bump. You take them however you can get them. Ooh, that was coming in right in that zone. You would expect these players to rip the rack, and instead it deflects, and he's got the 5-7. Makeable. Move your feet about 3 boards left and throw your strike shot. But he gets just a little too much of the 5.
And that is an open frame. And that'll tighten things just a little bit. So Aiden now down just 19, working on a spare. He'd love to get a double right here. But he misses the head pin and leaves a tricky spare, the 1-2-8. Got to be careful with this one. Let the ball drift to the crossover area and either cover all 3 pins with the ball or let the 2 go straight back and get the 8. Oh, he hit on the right side of the head pin, and he leaves one. So an open frame, and Aiden falls 33 pins in arrears, and we're down to the final 3 frames. Just when he needed a strike to stage a little bit of a comeback here. That one crosses over, and he leaves the 5-9. There's just no margin for error on this oil pattern. Aiden, one of the more accurate players we have in the U15 division. Aiden, who bowls in our league at Bowlero Roswell, where Prodigy usually originates. Oh no! He chops the 5 off the 9. He's a good spare shooter. But man, when it rains, it pours. And now Matthew, with a 44-pin lead, he is in the driver's seat. Matthew going at a 2:15 pace. Aiden a possible 191. Whoa. Something distracted him. Hard to know what was going on there. He may have caught something out of the corner of his eye, or I don't know. He might have slipped on the approach and just decided to pull that one back in, but that's hard to do. He may have felt the ball slipping on his thumb. I think he may have gone and changed the Hada patch on his thumb. See him working over the rosin bag. Feel so important. We hardly ever talk about it because it's not something you can see. That's why they call it feel. But that one was worth waiting for. Matthew plants that one right in the pocket. Slaps out the 10. Watch it again. Comes right up the back of the ball. And watch this. 10 back. Taking his time. Uh-oh, that one got a little wide and didn't make it back. So now he's got the 2-10 split. Here's how you make it. Put the ball on the left side of the 2-pin. Throw the 2-pin over into the 10. It's a beautiful thing when it happens. But I'm not sure he was even trying to make it. I think he just wanted to make sure and get 9 out. And that was a smart play. He had pins to burn. Aiden now needs 4 strikes to shoot 191. Matthew would only need 9 in the 10th frame to win. There's the first one that Aiden needs. That keeps him mathematically in it. You never know what Matthew's going to do in the 10th. He could Greek church or something. As long as it's in the wood, you got to keep grinding, keep trying. It may be unlikely, but if it's possible, it can happen. As a matter of fact, in this sport, if it's possible, it has happened before. But that one sails wide, and that is going to be the end of Aiden Reynolds' week. The best he can do now is 171. Matthew has that beat. So Matthew Bruce is going to be moving on to match 2. And he will have his hands full with the defending champion in the next match.
All right, stay with it, girl.
Aiden with the 129. Covers it. And that's what I like to see. Even when they're mathematically out of it, they keep giving it their best. You learn how to do that, you will be a champion. Aiden won this event in the U12 division last year. Gets 8 on the final ball, so that's going to be a 169. So Matthew Bruce will go through the motions of finishing out here in the 10th frame. Oh, and look at this. That's his plastic ball. Or I'm not sure if it's plastic or urethane, but that's his spare ball. And he's throwing that over the left side of the lane. He's trying to create a little carry down over on the left side of the lane for Josh Collins, who's the one left-hander in the field and his next opponent. That is a controversial move, defensive bowling, but I guarantee you he learned that one from his dad, because that is a pro move. We don't talk about it much, and it is controversial, but that's pretty smart. So Matthew will face Josh Collins in match 2 next.
You know when it's right, you know when you feel it, baby. You hold it, you hear it, you taste it, it's right. You got the right one, baby. Yeah. Is this irresistible, uncontestable, tasteable, and intimately wonderful? You got the right one, baby. Right one. inexpressibly colorful and intimately soulful. You got the right one, baby.
With 100% NutraSweet.
Well, Matthew just got off to a quick start with a turkey in his first 3 frames and just sort of held on for dear life the rest of the way. One thing about bowling on tough scoring conditions is if you can build up a little bit of a lead, it's hard for your opponent to catch up, simply because strikes are so scarce. And that's exactly what proved to be the case in that opening match. Aiden's 2 open frames in frames 7 and 8, when he needed to put some strikes on the board to tighten the match, proved decisive. So it's Matthew Bruce who is moving on to match 2, where he'll face the one left-hander in the field and our defending champion, Josh Collins. Josh was one of just 5 players to score over 1,100 in round 1 2 weeks ago. But as he will tell you, it has seemed like every strike, every spare has been a struggle. He's hoping that if he can get past Matthew, he'll get into a rhythm and be on his way. Looks like the same old Josh Collins to me. He creeps up on the foul line, lets it go effortlessly, watches the ball zing down there about 45 feet, and then make a right turn into the pocket. And see you later, Pins. I have a feeling Matthew's going to have his hands full this match. How about a little love tap on the 10-pin? So both players begin with a strike. Watch the 6-pin, the second one from the right. He'll drive it to the right wall, and it will just come out enough to nudge the 10-pin down. All right. Takes a little practice swing, just trying to visualize the shot. Pulled it. Man, pulled that one into the next county. He turned away before that ball got halfway down the lane. He knew it was no good. The good news is he leaves a very easy spare, the 1-3. That could have been anything. That's what he wanted on the first ball right there. So a strike and a spare to begin for Matthew. And on this oil pattern, that's pretty good. As Josh now throws his first ball on the right lane. And that one creeps high. And now he's got a problem. The 4-7-10. And Josh actually carries 2 plastic balls. He says one hooks a little more than the other. I would think you'd want the one that hooks less for this. The 4-7-10, fit that ball over on the left side of the 4, slide it over into the 10. That's how we draw it up. But he doesn't get that one wide enough, and he may have just been going for the count. Left-handers shooting at left side spares had the same problem that right-handers shooting for right side spares had. Sometimes the ball would just slip off into the gutter. It's so slick on the outside. Josh may have just decided, let's just get 9 and move on. No, boy. Wide left with that one, and he's got the 3-6-7-9.
This can actually be made, and he throws enough hook that he can get it. If you can put the ball on the right side of the 3-pin with enough hook, you can spin the 6 back to get the 9 and slide the 3 over into the 7. That's how you would make it, unless you're just going for count, and then you just try to get the 3-9. He's going for it. Oh, man! What a good try. I don't know how you could possibly get any closer without making it. That's worth a second look. He's going to get that ball over on the right side of the 3, and both the 3 and the 9 could have gotten it. But he turns away, disappointed, shakes his head, and like, why me? Why indeed? Well, Matthew goes through the nose and had the 3, 6, 7, 10, but the 7 and the 10 went late, and now he has a decidedly easier spare to contend with, the 3, 6. And he goes straight at it and covers it. Well, as coaches, I know all coaches stress the importance of spares. And I just can't overemphasize it. But in tournament play, especially when the lanes are super difficult, converting your spares, that's the difference between winning and losing most of the time. But of course, it helps to leave more manageable spares. And that one sails on Matthew, and again, despite the errant shot, he leaves himself a very manageable spare, the 1-2. But you saw his gesture. Obviously, he was thinking, where was that ball going? Not his best effort, but he will focus on making this spare. Oh! And he didn't give it room, and guess what? This match is back to 8 pins. That's how important spares are. And Josh, once again, through the nose on the right lane. This is not the 4-7-10 like the last time he was up on the right lane, but the 2-7 can be tricky itself, especially when the outsides of the lanes are super slick. You got to be careful. And that's another open.
All right, Josh, come on, put a good one in.
He gets some encouragement from the crowd. But 3 opens in a row, not what he was expecting. And that one sails. Well, that's what happens when you're playing outside on this oil pattern. If you miss left, it's going to stay left. The 1-3-6. Move your feet a little left. Throw it over your strike target. Let the ball drift over to the Brooklyn side. Well, he gets it on the side he would have liked to have thrown it for the strike, but after 3 open frames, I'm sure he'll take that spare no matter how he got it. But now Matthew, with a 19-pin advantage, steps up in the 5th frame. Turns away, hates it, but he gets a Brooklyn. Trips the 6 off the wall. Well, Josh Collins would like that shot. A trip 6. Matthew Bruce, not so much. Shakes his head, never even saw the pins fall. But he's not going to give it back. These lanes just so touchy. There's just no margin for error at all. And that one goes Brooklyn, and he gets another strike. Unbelievable. And he looks down at the floor. He doesn't want to make eye contact with Josh. He knows he got lucky with those 2 strikes. Over about 19 at the arrows. Swings it out to about 15 or 16. Needs to get a little wider than that. All right, Josh needs to get busy. And that one jumps at the end. I thought that was a pretty good ball, and then all of a sudden it just turned on its right turn blinker. The 247. We've seen Josh have trouble with this spare in the past, and we've seen everyone have trouble with outside spares. Left-hander shooting at left side spares, right-hander shooting at right side spares. It's so slick on the outside, they tend to miss on the outside, expecting the ball to recover a little bit, and it just doesn't. He's got to be careful with this. Josh cannot afford any more opens. Look out. And there you go. It got him again. You just can't send it wide like that. It will not come back. Well, let's compare Josh today with last year when he won the Pepsi. He's standing taller at address last year. Today he's a little more crouched over. And now watch his backswing. A year ago it was hip high. Today he doesn't get it much above his knee. There's no backswing at all. And see how low he is at the line today? We used to call him Spider-Man because he used to bowl that way, and then he got taller a year ago. I don't mean he grew taller. I mean he stood taller. He bowled taller. I'm not saying one way is better than the other, but a year ago he was winning everything. And once again, that ball gets wide, and it's just out of bounds out there. You can't throw it out there. I haven't seen anybody in the field be able to bring it back from out there. The 1-3-6-9. Just got to throw a Brooklyn. Let the ball drive through and get the 1-3-9. The 3 will get the 6. A lot of ways to miss this one, too. Got to be careful. Well, that's not the way we draw it up, but it's a spare. And you can tell by the look on his face, Josh is flummoxed. All right, Matthew working on a double. And gets one more. And that will extend his lead to 53 pins, and he is definitely in control of this match now. Matthew getting it out to where another board to the right, and that ball would sail. He is right on the edge of where you can throw it and get the ball to recover. And that one didn't quite push enough, but he breaks down the split and leaves just the 6 pin, and he'll take it. A conversion here, and Matthew will be going at a 2:04 pace. And there's the spare. Joshua, a possible 182 if he takes it off the sheet. So he would have to strike out and hope that Matthew opens in the 9th and 10th. Seems improbable, but we've seen opens come in bunches. Josh moved in. Finds the pocket this time. He moved way to the right with his feet that time, instead of playing up the left side of the lane. Played more toward the middle. Now he'll go cross lane at the 7-pin with one of his plastic balls. And it slips off into the channel. Very uncharacteristic of Josh Collins. My goodness. And boy, does he look dejected. The best he can do now is 160. Matthews already got 154 if he fouls on every ball the rest of the way. Well, Josh will give it his best regardless. I think he finally found the line. He moved in on the right lane, and then he moved the target in to the right just a little bit on this shot on lane 17. And I believe he found the combination. But he may have come a little too late. Best shot of the match, though. Sure, he wishes he'd started there. Matthew, just a few pins will put this one away. He gets all but the one, and that's enough. So Matthew Bruce is going to move on to match 3. Now I wonder if he's going to throw a plastic ball again down the right side of the lane. Better be careful or he'll create some carry down for himself. But Elijah Williams is playing a completely different line on the right side. He's playing out more near where Aiden Reynolds was, laying it down out around the first arrow. Pointing it up just a little bit. There's a conversion of the 1 pin. Matthew going to try a different ball here on the left lane. That's another strategy when you've got the match put away. Try something else, see if it gives you a better look. Now that one just, he got that one a little too wide. You just can't send it out there. It's not coming back. So he leaves the 1-2-4-7. Again, this is all academic. He's already got the match won. They're just going through the motions of finishing out the frames to get a final score. And he covers the picket fence. And is he going to grab another ball? Might as well. see what other looks are available. I'll tell you what, he's going to be in the 190s here. That might be enough to win most of these games, I think. Oh, he goes with his plastic ball. I'm not sure if he was practicing a 10-pin or if he was trying to mess with Elijah's line out by the edge. But Matthew with a 189 to finish. Joshua now, possible 160. Not the game he wanted. And you see his reaction to that one, as if to say, why didn't I try this line earlier in the match? Why indeed? You know, when you're in a one-game match, you just can't delay making a move. If you feel like you got to move, don't wait for confirmation. Make the move. There aren't enough frames to waste. A little high that time. He breaks up the split, leaves just the 7. So Josh is going to end up with a 149 with a conversion here. And I bet you probably have to go back a ways to find the last time Josh shot a 149 in competition. Now, admittedly, everybody in the field had low games, but he throws a backup at the spare. It won't go, so it's a 148. Josh is disappointed. I get it. But there will be brighter days ahead for Josh Collins. But on this day, it's Matthew Bruce who takes match 2, and he's moving on. He'll face Elijah Williams in the semifinal match when we return.
You know, I just love this new Diet Pepsi song, but do you think it's caught on yet?
You got the right one, baby. Diet Pepsi.
If it's irresistibly sippable,
uncontestably tasteable and eminently wonderful.
You got the right one, baby. It's caught on yet? Nah.
Well, that certainly wasn't the game Josh Collins was hoping to bowl in defense of his title. But you know what? Sometimes you just have games like that. I know he's understandably disappointed, and it's not much consolation, but Josh is very resilient, and I've never seen him get discouraged. In fact, I just saw him take his bowling balls down to the other end of the house where he said he wanted to go practice. That's who Josh Collins is. You can bet that we'll be seeing him again in contention at major youth tournaments both here in Georgia and elsewhere. But another strong game by Fun Bowl of Henry County's Matthew Bruce that gave him enough of a margin of victory to throw away a few shots at the end of match 2 has him advancing to match 3, the semifinal, where he'll face our number 2 qualifier, Elijah Williams, who bowls league over at Bowlero Lilburn. Elijah's been inching his way up the Pepsi leaderboard the past couple of years. He finished 5th 2 years ago, 3rd last year, and now he sits in the 2 spot, needing just 2 wins to take home first prize. But he'll have to get past Matthew, who looks like a young man on a mission today. One of these 2 will be bowling for the title in the match immediately following this one. Ooh, a lucky break to start this match. Matthew puts it right on the nose, and the 4-6 becomes just the 6 pin. And he's breathing a sigh of relief right now. And he covers the spare. So, he's off and running. Now, I got to tell you, Elijah Williams, all the competitors, when they come on, they get 2 practice balls on each lane. Elijah couldn't keep the ball to the right of the head pin on any of his practice balls. They all went Brooklyn. But he must have learned something from those shots, because he just pasted the pocket with that one. As I mentioned earlier, he's playing up the outside edge in that slick area. But he's found something out there he likes. Maybe get a better look at it when he's on the left lane here. How do you not like that? Those are 2 perfect strikes to start. He's playing straight up about 7 or 8. Not much belly to it. Well, none, really. Just straight up the boards. And he slaps out the 10 on both of those strikes to begin the match. Strong player. Matthew playing considerably more toward the center of the lane, swinging it out. He didn't get that one quite wide enough. And he leaves the 9 pin on a Brooklyn hit. He's been good with his spares today. Covers the 9 easily. But it seems as though he's having to chase the oil in a little bit more. Seems like he has moved farther in. And that's a good spot to be right there. Right in the swish zone as he rips the rack. Let's get another look at this and watch how Matthew comes straight up the back of the ball. Watch this. See where his fingers are? He's coming right up the back of it. He doesn't go around the ball. He doesn't twirl the ball at the bottom. He just comes straight up the back of it, and watch it make a left turn. These modern bowling balls are built to hook. You don't have to do much to them. Wow.
Elijah comes out gunning at the beginning of this game. There's a turkey to start. Every ball he's thrown thus far has been solid in the pocket. Straight up, 7 or 8. And right in the hole, man. He's been close in this tournament the last couple of years, and he'd love to take the final step today. You keep throwing them like that, and you will, young man. Goodness gracious. A 4-bagger to start. Now that is just what the doctor ordered right there. All right, Matthew working on a strike. Turned away. He didn't like it. He knew that that one was not far enough to the right. All right, you got to be careful with these right corner spares. They've been missing them in the gutter. But Matthew, with that straight up the back of the ball release of his, when he takes a plastic ball, it just goes right where he throws it. Right where he aims it. Some players have to adjust their release to go at spares. Not Matthew. His strike ball, he comes right up the back of it. And there's a solid strike. So Matthew's bowling well this game, but he's 31 pins behind. Right over about 19 at the arrow, swings it out to about maybe 12. Chops out the 10-pin. Watch his footwork. Open hand release. You won't often see Matthew grab it at the bottom. All right, Elijah. Can he make it 5 in a row? Oh, no. A wild pitch. And he's got the 1, 3, 6, 10. Here's one you don't see very often from a right-hander. But to make it, you throw it just like a strike. Right on the 1-3. Just like that. So he'll just try to forget about that first ball he threw in the 5th frame and just consider it a freak occurrence and go on about his business. Four-baggers have been rare today. Well, that was close. Just a little high. And he leaves the 6. Now, I know I've talked about this before, but these right side spares for right-handers, they got to be careful with them. And that's what I'm talking about. We've seen this over and over today. In round 2, they were missing right side spares either in the gutter or just to the right. And Elijah whiffs the 6-pin, and now Matthew suddenly has new life. If he can put a strike up here in the 6th frame, he'll be down by only 5 pins. Oh my goodness. He turned away as soon as the ball left his hand. He knew it was left of target. He hated the shot. I bet he loves it now. Watch this again. Watch him turn away in disgust. As soon as it comes off his hand, he knows it's no good. But it's better than good. It's great. Watch his reaction. He turns to someone in the crowd and I think that was his mom. All right. Can he make it a turkey? Take the lead with a strike here. High. Leaves the 6-10. But he certainly made this a match. After having a four-bagger thrown at him in the beginning frames, Matthews right back in it. Oh, no! Well, that's just a mental lapse. But you can't afford those. On these tough oil patterns, you cannot go to sleep. You've got to be laser focused on every ball. Suddenly, Elijah back up by 21. And he crosses over and leaves the 5-pin. And that looked more like the balls he was throwing in warm-up. All right. Let's go back to what you were doing. Throw it straight up 7 or 8. Just like that. Well, as we get down to the final 3 frames of the match, each player with 1 open. The difference is that Elijah has that 4-bagger out of the gate, while Matthews' best string of strikes is a double. It's left. But he gets a Brooklyn to go. Well, you don't have to be proud of them. They all count the same. You see, that's over the second arrow. His best shots were over about 7 or 8. You just cannot miss. He got away with it. Watch his footwork. He'll drift a little left and then steps back to the right on his slide step. Well, he didn't like it when he let it go, but he loved it when it arrived. All right, Matthew. And the same break that Elijah got on the 9-pin will not go for Matthew. He could have used one right there. But he takes care of the spare, no problem. But now he needs to come up with a string of strikes to get back in this. He can't expect Elijah to come back to him. He needs to go grab this one by the throat. That was a pretty good shot. It just drifted a little high. You saw he was motioning, stay right, stay right. All right. Don't go to sleep on this one either. You've got to make your spares. Oh, my. Well, that may have been the last nail in the coffin for Matthew. A self-inflicted wound, I'm afraid, as Elijah is about to put an end to this. The best Matthew can do is 189. Elijah's about to punch his own ticket to the championship match. It was almost a split, but he leaves just the 9-pin. He shouldn't have any problem with this. A spare would give him 174 in the 8th. With a spare up, even if he misses this, he's just going to need a few pins in the 10th frame to put this to bed. And he gets the 9. So that'll give him 184. He just needs 3 pins on the next ball. And Elijah Williams will be moving on to the championship match. Matthew bowled well until he had 2 mistakes in the 7th and 9th. Easy spares he let get away. And that's a winner-winner chicken dinner for Elijah right there. So Matthew's march to the top comes up short as Elijah Williams is going to bowl for the championship. That's close, but it wouldn't have mattered if he had chopped it. He's already got this one put away. And Elijah can finish with a 211. And let me tell you something, a 211 is some great bowling on this oil pattern. This pattern gave the players fits who got to the final advancers round at Junior Gold last summer. Solid strike to finish. It's a 211 for Elijah Williams. And Matthew Bruce congratulates him. Matthew will finish 3rd today. And that's a good tournament. And how about that little strike there? He's like, I could have used that one earlier. Watch it again. This is going to go right through the nose, and I think it's going to be the 2-pin. Watch the 2-pin go to the left wall, and here it comes. Taking out the 6 and 10. He moves to the outside line for this shot, just to see if maybe he could have moved out there earlier, but it's going to be a 179 if he covers this. Matthew had a good day, won a couple of matches in the step ladder. Just came up short when Elijah put a 211 on him, but that's nothing to be ashamed of. He bowled well. But we move on to the championship match, and it's going to be our 2-seed, Elijah Williams, against Christian Knowles, who will try to go wire to wire next.
You got the right one, baby. These days, as soon as you get a hit song, everybody thinks they can sing it better.
You got the right one, baby. Oh, you got the right one, baby. You got the right thing,
You got the right one.
You got the right one, everybody.
Infinitely blissful, spiritually wonderful Diet Pepsi.
He can do it. He really can.
Ooh, Diet Pepsi. You got the right one, baby. Baby, you got the right one.
I thought I was great. I hope you likes us.
Do I get a call back?
How's that?
There's only one right one, baby. You got the right one, baby.
So while Matthew Bruce's climb to the top comes up short this year, this young man should feel good about his third-place finish as he bowled well to get into the top 5 and proved himself to be a strong contender. Something tells me this won't be his last opportunity to grab a win at the Pepsi. But today he ran into a buzzsaw who just got off to a fast start. So it's Elijah Williams who put up a strong 2-11 game and now finds himself in the championship match where he'll face our tournament leader, Christian Knowles. These two used to bowl together at Bowlero Lilburn, but for the next 20 minutes, they're friends who both want the same prize, but only one of them can win it. Christian, being the higher finisher, had the choice of starting lanes. He wants to finish first, so he sends Elijah up to start the match on the left lane. Oh boy. Well, he just let that one get away from him, wide right. When you're playing out there in the slicker part of the lane, if you miss right, you're lucky if you get any pins at all. But a 3 count to start, and that'll get his attention for sure. I bet you he doesn't miss right on this one. But you can't miss left either. You can't miss. On this oil pattern, you have to be very precise, and that's 8 out to start for Elijah. And now Christian. Did not make the step ladder at Pepsi last year. Has made it before, though. This is not his first time at the rodeo, as they say. This kid has the 3rd highest average in our league at Bowlero Roswell, behind Charlie Bostic and Logan Fossum. He can bowl. As you see, I've had my eye on this kid all year and thought he could do something. Take another look at that strike in the first frame. Fundamentally very sound. Nice straight swing. Doesn't try to do too much to it. And that ball just drives through the pins the way you'd want it to. He won't show you much emotion on the lanes. That little fist pump right there is a little uncharacteristic for Christian. He just lets his bowling ball do the talking. No, he got a little too much of it at the bottom that time. It looked like it stayed on his hand just a little too long, a little grabby at the bottom that time, and now he's got the big 4, the 4, 6, 7, 10. Nothing really to do with this, just take 2. Maybe something will bounce out, but be sure and get 2. No, he's stuck at the line.
He may have actually stuck at the line on the first ball, too. Let's watch this again. He's lucky he didn't foul. Just got to be careful. So Elijah gets a reprieve. Well, that's a better shot than the one he threw in the first frame, but missed a little bit left. And it goes through the nose, and he leaves the 3-6. He'll move to the left side of the lane and shoot this. Well, he's going to play it a little left of center. And gets it. So a 2-pin advantage for Elijah through the first couple of frames. You get in these situations where it's down to one match for the title, and there definitely can be some nerves in the early frames. And then once the players get into the flow of the match, their instincts just take over. And that's more like what we saw out of Elijah in the first few frames of that last match. And he's looking for a little more of that. Right up about 8. 6-pin is going to just nudge out the 10. And we'll see his reaction to it here. You get a little bit of a fist pump, not much. You don't want to spend all your emotion early. All right, Christian trying to answer the bell. And that was a little grabby, too. But it crossed over just enough that he didn't leave another big split. But we call that the Jersey Squasher. And he's lucky to have gotten a strike there. But you know what they say, it's not how, it's how many. And that's 10 in the pit. There's no blank on the score sheet for style points. Now he will just forget about that. Fix his eye on the target and just try to make a nice positive swing. Left off his hand, missed his target, and now he's got the 3-10 baby split. Here's how you make it. Put the ball on the right side of the 3, let it deflect over into the 10. And I've talked about this many times, but the farther to the left you stand, the narrower the gap between the 3 and the 10. It's easier to make the farther left you play. Just like that. That is how it's done. Let's watch the way Christian Knowles shoots the baby split. Watch this. He will lay that ball down at about the 33rd board and lets it drift over to the right side of the lane. That is textbook right there. All right, Elijah. And that one was just a little right of his target. And now he's got the washout, the 1-2-10. Put the ball on the left side of the head pin. Throw the head pin over into the 10. I would move my feet 7 boards to the right, throw it over my strike target. But he catches the right side of the head pin, and that's not going to work. So there's an open frame for Elijah, and he goes from a 2-pin advantage to now trailing by 10. So, a couple of opens in the first 4 frames for Elijah. Contrast that with the 4 strikes he began the last match with, and he'd like to capture some of that magic here in the final 6 frames of this championship match. They gave that one a little extra speed just to try to get it to hold line. But it drifts a little left, and he's got the 6-pin. There are certainly tougher spares to have to shoot. And he gets the 6-pin. Well, Christian Knowles has struck each time on the right lane so far. See if he can do it again. As we mentioned earlier, we've got the U15 girls on our left, the U17 girls on our right, and they're all in the championship match now. That was Annalise O'Brien making the 310 on that lane to our left. Pretty good shot by Christian Knowles there in the 5th frame. The young lady you see on our right is Savannah Croft. We will join their match when we're through here. Savannah is bowling Glory Harmon for the title in the U17 girls. All right, Christian for the spare. Easy peasy. It's a 9-pin match halfway through. And you know that behind our camera are some very nervous parents and grandparents who are all sitting on pins and needles watching this. As nervous as the bowlers get, they at least have a way to work off the nervous energy. The parents, all they can do is sit and watch. Crosses over, leaves the 6, and I'll tell you what, when it gets down here to the end like this, you don't mind seeing crossovers when they leave easy spares. Easy spares are your friend when it comes down to the very end. Christian will go straight at the 6. No! He misses it wide right. We've talked about it before with right side spares for right-handers, left-hand spares for left-handers. If they're gonna miss them, they usually miss them wide, near the gutter or in the gutter, and it happened again there. So Elijah takes the lead sitting on the bench. And he gets another crossover, and this time leaves just the 5. 9 counts are friendly when you can make them. You wouldn't expect him to have any problem with a 5-pin. Oh, no! So maybe it's nerves? Getting down to the end. Maybe it's just an errant shot. Who knows? Sometimes when the pressure is cranked up to 11, a player's tendencies will come to the surface. I don't see Elijah bowl often enough to know what his tendencies are. But he gives that one a little extra speed. It's kind of an old school tactic. When the lanes are tough, throw it hard. Go with the frozen rope. Straighter is greater. Just the 2-pin. And he gets it. But you have to wonder, getting down to the last few frames, how many more mistakes can you get away with? Probably not many. Christian taking his time. And boy, that was one of his best shots today. And it couldn't have come at a better time. We'll watch it again here. He's about at 14 or so at the arrows, out to about 11. Don't want to get it much wider than that or it will never come back. Boy, he would love to get a double here. A 19-pin lead this late could almost be insurmountable. But he pulled it. When they're this tough, it is just so hard to just let it go. Especially when you know that if you miss a board right, you might get 3. As Elijah found out on his first ball in this match. The 6-9. Again, that right side spare. Be careful. All right. All right, Elijah. If you got another little 4-bagger in you, now would be the time to let it out. Oh, no. Another one of those 3 counts like he started the match with. That one just got away from him. You just can't miss right, especially when you're out there. And especially when you're throwing it as hard as he's throwing it. Now, when he shot at this earlier, he crossed over and left the 1-3. And he does it again. So now he's really in trouble. So Elijah, with his back to the wall now, can strike out for 165. Christian's going at a 173 pace. Well, by any means necessary, he needs all those he can get. There's a wall shot for Elijah, and he'll take it. Watch this one. The head pin's going to go to the left wall, and will come back and spill the 4, 5, and 7. Christian trying to put this one away. All right, it crossed over. Seemed like he took a little speed off of that one. The tendency when you get nervous is to pull it. He pulled that one. Smart play. He just went straight at it. Didn't try to even turn it or anything. And he gives a little smile to his peeps back in the gallery. But now we're down to the 10th frame, and this is where it's all going to be decided. He needs a mark to win the Pepsi. No. Sends it wide. The 1, 2, 4, 6, 10. Couple of ways to make this. Send the 1 over into the 6 and 10 while the ball gets the 2 and the 4. Or you can throw a straight ball from the left side of the lane, get the right side of the head pin, let the ball deflect into the 6-10. The 1 will get the 2 and 4. If you play this from the left side, you could be trying it either way. It's hard to know what he has in mind. But he gets too much of the head pin regardless, and that's an open frame, and he has just opened the door for Elijah. So now the situation is this. Elijah needs a strike on the first ball and the second ball in the 10th, and then 1 pin on the fill ball to win the 2019 Georgia State PEPSI Tournament. If Elijah doesn't strike on this ball or the next, Christian Knowles is the winner. Now is the time for your Sunday ball. But it goes high, and Christian has won the Pepsi. Here it is, the ball that decided it. He knew it was left off his hand. He was just hoping for a break. But he is stoic in defeat. But you know what? Second place is nothing to sneeze at. He's going to get a nice little scholarship award for his efforts. And he keeps inching his way up the leaderboard at Pepsi. 5th 2 years ago, 3rd last year. It's going to be a 2nd place finish this year. Elijah Williams is your runner-up, but your champion in the 2019 Georgia State PEPSI in the U15 Boys is Christian Knowles. We'll visit with him and then get you back out to the lanes for bonus coverage, U17 girls and U20 boys, when we return.
Right now, I'll tell you the best.
Well, what you just witnessed was a knockdown, drag-out battle for survival, as the lanes had transitioned into something right out of the Twilight Zone. Elijah Williams had a chance to win it at the wire, but he couldn't throw his best shots when he needed them at the end. But he can take pride in the fact that he has continued his march toward victory. 5th 2 years ago, 3rd last year, and a runner-up finish in 2019 means Elijah Williams is already looking forward to 2020. But someone had to win the Pepsi today, and that someone is Christian Knowles, who led after every round and is now the U15 BOYS champion at the 2019 Georgia State PEPSI Tournament.
What were you thinking in the 10th frame there when you left the super washout and you knew that you'd left the door open?
I was just trying to focus and make sure if I didn't make it, I got count. So I did that, and then I just had to hope that he didn't strike.
And he didn't, and there you are, winning the Pepsi. Pretty big tournament. What's the highest you've ever finished in this thing?
5th, actually. So.
Congratulations, along with the win and the far more important plaque and scholarship money you'll be receiving. Because we televised it, you get to sign the coveted trophy pin.
Let's pick the spot for the
And the winner in the U15 BOYS at the Pepsi here in Georgia, Christian Knowles. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now we get you right back out to the lanes for bonus coverage. The championship matches in 2 divisions are still in progress, and we'll join each of them in succession. First, the U17 girls division, where Bowlero Roswell's Savannah Croft is looking to do what Christian Knowles just did and go wire to wire. She's facing Glory Harmon of Bowlero Austell. I've been trying to get both of these girls on Prodigy for a while. Savannah joined our league at Roswell and hasn't stayed after league to bowl Prodigy. Well, we got her today, and oh no. Well, no sooner do we turn the camera on her and she leaves an 8-10. Well, she's leading in the match by 9. They are through 5 frames. Savannah has just thrown her first ball in the 6th, and she'd like to have that one back. The only other time she's been on Prodigy, she left an 8-10, and it proved costly when we were over at Austell and she lost to Kara Freeman. And that one goes wide left, and Glory Harmon takes the lead. Now, Glory Harmon's another one that I've been trying to get on Prodigy for a while. Every time I see her at one of these GYBTs, I say, okay, are you going to come bowl Prodigy with us one of these days? Well, here we got her now. And it's a Brooklyn strike, but she'll take it. And we haven't been following the girls through their stepladder, but I can pretty much guarantee you that they've been facing the same challenges that the boys have been facing on lanes 17 and 18. It's the same oil pattern. All the age groups are bowling this same challenging oil pattern. Glory now with a 5-pin lead and a strike up. And it goes Brooklyn, and she misses the head pin, and now she's got the 1-3-9.
Did you hear me screaming all the way down there?
Well, and here's how you make the 1-3-9. Put the ball on the 1 and the 3. Want to hit a little bit wider than you would for a strike. A regular strike ball might hook through and go right by the 9-pin.
I'm kidding.
I would say hit a light pocket hit. It's right where you want to be here.
But we tied in the 15.
But she misses it to the left, and
We had to go 9 for the ball. And
well, I'm pretty sure that they've seen just those kinds of strange things today, but that is an open, and Glory with 99 in the 7th. And Savannah back out ahead by 11. She's led after round 1 and after round 2. Goes through the nose, breaks down the split, and she's got the 6-10.
So you're pretty sure.
So Savannah will have a cross lane spare. When we look at her score sheet, we see that she's had a couple of strikes, 1-9 count, and then nothing but 8s the rest of the way. So it's been kind of feast or famine for Savannah in this championship match. It's probably a little different oil pattern than what she was bowling on. Same oil pattern, it's just mutated into whatever it is now. Certainly isn't like what she was bowling on this morning when they came out and started round 2. So she moves to the left lane. They're bowling on 19 and 20. This is the pair that was adjacent to us, just to the right of where the boys were bowling earlier. And now she'd like to find another one of those X's. And she's not going to find it there. And that one goes wide. They've got the same challenge if you miss right and it gets into that slick part of the lane, it's not going to recover. The 1-5-7, it can be made. You throw it about like you would a strike and hope that the ball drives through and gets the 5. You want to throw the 1 pin over into the 7. You don't want to throw a spare ball at this. A spare ball will deflect. You need it to drive through and get that back pin, the 5. But she hits the left side of the head pin. The ball deflects into the 7, and she leaves the 5 standing. So another open frame, and she hands the lead back to Glory. And there's a pocket shot for Glory. She trips the 4. And that'll help her a little bit with her confidence when she gets up in the 10th, knowing that she's found the line on the right lane, because that's where she's going to finish. She just stuffed that one. Brooklyn, 9-pin won't go. Glory with a very fluid style. She's a planter, not a slider. She goes heel first on her last step. And she kind of stands up on that final step. I'd like to see her stay down, but, you know, it's working for her, and she's real smooth. What a fluid arm swing. So Savannah needs to string a couple of strikes here to move out ahead. And she is going to back off. Something either distracted her or just didn't seem right. And that is the smart move. When all systems are not go, just set the ball down, go through your routine all over again, and then go. Comes up a little light. Tried to break him down. But the 2-pin remains. Well, Savannah's mom, always there whenever Savannah's bowling in one of these tournaments. And Glory, I know her dad is here. So it's going to come down to who can perform in the 10th frame. And Savannah, with a little disadvantage, she's got a double to catch Glory. But now is the time to set everything you know in motion. Comes up a little high. Leaves the 6. Now once again, these right side spares for right-handers have been a little tricky. She's got to make sure and cover this. You don't want to be handing Glory the title here by missing a single pin spare. There's no guarantee that Glory will mark in the 10th. She's already got 3 opens. All right. She'd have loved to have gotten a double, but you never know. A mark might be enough. Fill it up, get all you can. We've seen some strange things happen. All right, a 9 count to close. That's going to be a 154 for Savannah Croft. So Glory needs a mark. She needs to fill 16 pins. And she's on a spare, so count matters here on the first ball. And she trips the 4 for a strike. And that makes her job a whole lot easier now, because with that strike, now she's got 2 shots to get 6 pins. There's that first ball in the 10th. Two shots to get 6 to win. And she only needs 1. And Glory Harmon is your 2019 U17 Girls Champion in the Georgia State PEPSI Tournament. The shutout ball is a wall shot strike. And I know Savannah is disappointed. Bless her heart, she led the whole way, but Glory took it from her in the very final frame of the very final game of the tournament. We've got more bonus coverage. The U20 boys haven't decided their championship. We'll watch it next. And now we take you back laneside for more bonus coverage. The one remaining stepladder has defending champion Peyton Smith going against Josh Donahue. You'll recall Josh, who was in our program at Bowlero Roswell last year. He's now Peyton's teammate at Emmanuel College, and Josh holds a 24-pin lead through 5 frames. And that ball sails wide, and he's left with the 1-2. Now, despite the fact that these two are in college, they still qualify for youth bowling because they were both under 20 years old on August 1st, 2018, when this bowling season began. A spare for Josh. Now, as you can see, we've got a little shaky cam action going on here. That's because the tripod is down on lanes 17 and 18, where we shot the U15 boys. So this is all handheld video. Peyton Smith, the defending champion, having some difficulty so far. He's got 3 open frames thus far. Very uncharacteristic of Peyton, but this oil pattern has proven difficult for everyone. But Peyton is playing out by the outside where we saw Aiden and Elijah in the U15 boys earlier. That one comes up a little thin, and he leaves the 2-pin. Peyton has won just about every tournament there is for a youth player to win in the state of Georgia, including the 2018 Prodigy Bowlers Tour Tournament of Champions, where he won the coveted trophy pin and gave it to Christian Manel. And it's a spare in the 6th. The difficulty he faces, we talked about it earlier, is that when you fall behind like this, it's hard to string strikes to get back in the match. You almost have to hope that your opponent comes back to you. And now we've certainly seen that happen today, but he's got a tough opponent in Josh. I almost wasn't sure that it was Josh when I looked at the leaderboard after round 1, because he was listed as James Donahue, and I knew his dad's name was James, but I didn't know Josh as James, but it's James J. Donahue, Josh. We call him Josh. Peyton, a very deliberate player, and this oil pattern will slow everybody down. Excellent shot. Well, these players told me that all they were trying to do is just leave makeable spares, because they're liable to leave anything on this oil pattern. Well, he gets the mixer, but the 10 refuses to go, so you'll have a little cleanup action to do here. He'll go cross lane at the 10 pin. And he just gets it as the ball was falling off into the gutter. Well, Josh was bounced in the U20 boys stepladder last year by Charles Bostic, who was forced to bowl with the U20s because there was no U17 age group last year. There is this year, and Charlie won it today. A high hit for Josh, and he leaves the 3-6-10. And again, we've talked about these right side spares for right-handers. You got to be careful and not give up too much. How many times have we seen that today? Just sends it a little wide. It will not come back. And so all of a sudden, that big lead that Josh had is now down to just 7 pins. And Peyton is working on a strike. He can take the lead if he puts a strike up here in the 8th. The applause you hear for Glory Harmon winning the U17 girls. This is taped at the same time that the girls match was going on. Oh, that was close. Nearly got a messenger. That must have been the winning ball, huh? What do you think? In any case, Peyton, with an opportunity to take the lead, it slips through his fingers there, but still, he's just 7 pins behind. With 2 frames left, this is still anybody's match. He will go cross lane at the 10 pin. And he gets it. So, we're down to just the 9th and 10th frames. Who can perform at the end? That's usually what's going to decide it. Peyton Smith has been here many times before and has found the stuff of victory. Josh Donahue has won the Pepsi as a U15 boy, but never as a U20. All the other stepladders are done, so a little chaos is breaking out around us. And Peyton gives that one a little extra speed, and it comes up light, and he leaves a 2-pin. You know, they talk about it in golf, about how it's tough to play in the group just ahead of Tiger Woods' group, because that's where all the gallery is moving to. And with all of the stepladders being concluded, there is a lot of activity and people moving around, and it is easy for these two players to get distracted by all of the commotion. But they've just got to focus here and finish this thing off. Peyton, very methodical, covers the 2. And now Josh has it all in front of him. Couple of strikes here in the 9th and 10th, and he can put this away. Ooh, that was almost a 4-9. We talked about this earlier in one of the U15 boys matches, and sometimes the biggest break you get is one that never shows up on the score sheet. It's breaking down a split to just a single pin. that 9-pin had stayed up, could have very much changed the complexion of this match. As it is, Josh takes an 8-pin lead into the 10th frame. If he can double, he will shut out Peyton. Anything less than a double, Peyton will have the opportunity to get up and win the match and win the title. Gotta love it when it comes down to the 10th frame. Tell you what, ask any bowler, this is what they live for. To be in this situation with a big title riding on it, and you gotta perform in the 10th frame. These guys have been thinking about this since they were little kids. That one comes up a little thin, and Josh leaves the 2-7. So the door is open for Peyton. Josh, a conversion here and a strike on the fill would have 165. Peyton can still shoot 169. He covers the spare, and boy, that was huge. You don't want to be opening, handing Peyton the lead as he gets up in the 10th. But as it is now, Josh just needs to keep this somewhere in the middle of the lane, and he will force Peyton to double to beat him. There's 8. That's enough. So Josh will sit down and hope. But I'll tell you what, if there is one player in the state of Georgia, one youth bowler in the last 4 or 5 years that you would want to bank on throwing the clutch shots at the end of a match to win, it's this guy right here, Peyton Smith. Must strike on the first ball, must strike on the second ball, and then he'll need 5 on the fill to win. Anything less than a strike on this ball, and Josh Donahue is the champion. There's one. Now he's got to do it again. Tell you what, he looks cool on the outside, but I guarantee you that heart is pumping. This is it, one ball right here for the Pepsi title. He'll need some fill on the next ball if he gets the strike, but he's got to have this one. A strike to win. Stone 9. Unbelievable. And Josh Donahue has won the 2019 Georgia State PEPSI Tournament in the U15 BOYS. And I'll tell you what, it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy. Peyton Smith. These two both, two of the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet. But I'll tell you what, I got to spend a year with Josh in our program, and I'm so happy for him. We'll wrap it up and show you all the winners in the step ladders next. Hey, it's me, Coach Randy, with exciting news about a new way you can help support Prodigy Bowlers Tour.
Over the past couple of years, we've had a number of Prodigy fans say they'd love to offer something in payment for the Prodigy content seen each week on YouTube throughout the bowling season. Well, I'm pleased to announce that Prodigy is now on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Now, in case you're not familiar with it, Patreon is a platform where YouTube content consumers like you can connect directly with YouTube content creators like me and pledge a small amount of money each month to support the work that goes into creating the content that you enjoy watching. It's based on the age-old concept of patrons. About 30 to 40 hours of work goes into the production of each and every episode of Prodigy Bowlers Tour. So if you enjoy the content on Prodigy Bowlers Tour each week and you'd like to support the show, please check it out at patreon.com/Prodigy Bowlers Tour. There are 4 affordable subscription tiers, and each one offers a different reward, up to and including sneak peeks of shows before they're released to the public, exclusive behind-the-scenes content that only members will ever see, and there's even a tier that will enable you to get all that and get your name in the credits each week as a producer of the show. You'll be helping me to be able to continue making the show each week and even reinvest some of the money into improving the show going forward. Thanks for checking it out, and thanks for supporting Prodigy Bowlers Tour.
I reach out my hand to you. I have faith in all you do. I reach out my hand to you. I have faith in all you do.
Just call my name and I'll be there. Just let me fill your heart with joy and laughter. Togetherness is all I'm after. Whenever you need me, I'll be
for radio. There's one song that never stops, drives me wild but still it's top. Toscanini knows his notes, Goodman gets the hep-cat votes. Crosby sings them sweet or hot, I want rhythm that hits the spot. Every time I hear the crazy melody that's haunting me, I feel I wanna holler, hey, hey. Even when I go to sleep, after hours counting sheep, I wake right up and here's what I say. Pepsi-Cola hits the spot, 12 full ounces, that's a lot. Twice as much for a nickel too. Pepsi-Cola is the drink for you. Every time I hear the crazy melody that's haunting me, I feel I wanna holler, hey, hey. Even when I go to sleep, after hours counting sheep, I wake right up and here's what I say. Pepsi-Cola hits the spot, 12 full ounces, that's a lot. Twice as much for a nickel too. Pepsi-Cola is the drink for you.